Hello.
Okay, good day everyone. So we are from Group 4. We'll be presenting our research project. The title is The Failure of Patriarchal Polygamy in Nia Dinata's Berbagi Suami. So before we jump in, let us introduce ourselves. So for me, my name is Muhammad Zulfar Razadin Rahmat, and the others.
My name is Azhar Ramdhani Prianto.
And my name is Hendrawan Eka Sulianto.
And my name is Nafalgino Frintio.
Okay, so next. Next, we move to the filmmakers of the Berbagi Suami. So the directors is Nia Dinata. So this information we observe from the hypeapis.id interview by Nabila in 2023. So we conclude that she is known as one of the most influential film directors of post-reform Indonesia, and she also known as her critic toward toxic masculinity and toxic heteronormativity, especially patriarchal polygamy through feminist scope, and also known for dismantling Indonesian middle class hypocrisies. Next. So we jump to the film summary. So in Berbagi Sawi, or the international title is that Love for Share, released in 2006 by Niatinata, tells three different stories of women, different cultural and ethnics trapped in polygamy system. So the segment we focus on is the relationship between Siti and Dwi, two wives of the same man, which their husband named Pak Lik in a conservative Muslim household. So Siti, the third wife, younger, and then Dwi is the second wife, the elder, obedient first wife, always wearing hijab. So the husband, uh, Pak Lik, he is a dominant figure, religiously authoritative figure. So as they live under the same roof, Siti and we slowly build a connection based on shared oppression, intimacy, and emotional solidarity, which later develops into queer relationship desire. And next. So the overview from the film is that uh, actually this is the we must focus, we must fix. So this waves three distinct stories of polygamy across different social classes. So this is Salma, Siti, and Ming, but we focus on Siti and Dwi in Bali household, focusing on the complex silent solidarity between women from the patriarchal polygamy household system. And also, this film also challenging the patriarchal system and the polygamy system that suppressed women's voice and space in a household. And then next. So we found that this is the queer scenes from the films between Siti and Dwi. So the first encounter of the scene is that they sleep together, sharing the same bed while gently touching each other. And then they play around with vibes of, like a lesbian like girl with girl. And the second, the middle photos is that the scene where they continually flow to raise the queer relationship that is they play around in a bathroom, like touching each other And then the third one, the right one is that they also sharing the same bed, like gently touching from toe to toe, from hand to hand, and etc. So next, so we focus on the theory that is will be explained by the other member.
So for the queer in Indonesian cinema, Murtah 2013 argued that the other gender identity or queer represented is as silence and coded in Indonesian cinema. They do not need to label themselves as lesbian or gay to enact a queer reality that excludes the patriarch. And ini dia atas Berbagi Suami 2006, Siti and Dwi get more excited with each other after they, especially Siti, do not have the exciting feeling with Pak or their husband, like Dwi offer to Siti. Next. So it is for the Ukti queer explanation. So what is Ukti means? Ukti comes from the Arabic word Ukti, which means my sister. In recent years, this term has been widely used in Indonesian community to describe Muslim women who are visibly religious, especially those who wear the hijab. And what is queer means? So Judith Butler in 1990 described queer as identity position that challenge fixed categories of gender and sexuality, and it disrupts dominant heterosexual norms. Next. And therefore, ukti queer is refers to a pious Muslim woman who wears hijab and privately experience desires or engage in queer emotion, relationship, or as expressions. This combines the religious identity of an ukti with Butler ideas of queer as an fluid, non-heteronormative identity. This understanding is in line with the findings of L. Idrisi et al. 2025, which shows that the hijab cannot be understood as a symbol of oppression, but rather as a spiritual and personal practice that shapes the identity and agency of a Muslim woman. So, and Ukti Queer does not rejecting the Islam ideas, but however it can involve, it can navigating queer identity within religious boundaries, expressing affection in subtle or hidden ways, and forming emotional bonds through shared womanhood. And the next is gonna be explained with other member.
Well, why the representation matters? Because in Berbagi Suami shows that queerness, Islam, and polygamy intersecting at the same time. And then hijabi women portrayed as active agents with desire. And then queer connection emerging not from rebellion but from survival, and a critique of how patriarchal religious system fail to fulfill women's emotional needs. And then Islamic patriarchal polygamy. In the film, polygamy is represented through male religious authority, strict moral expectation on wives, unequal distribution of emotional labor, and surveillance and control of women's bodies. While in Islam, the Holy Quran guide us to An-Nisa ayat 3 or line 3. If you fear you might fail to give orphan women their due rights if you were to marry them, then marry other women of your choice, 2, 3, or 4. But if you are afraid you will fail to maintain justice, then content yourself with one or those bondwomen in your possession. This way are less likely to commit injustice. Also in An-Nisa line 129, And you shall never be able to maintain real equality between wives, so do not lean totally towards one and leave the other hanging. Tafsir of Ma'arif Al-Quran. And then the next slide's gonna be presented by my friend.
Still muted, Hendra.
So how this queer fits in this film? We can see how the queer emerges because we can see that they have forced proximity, shared emotional suffering, and bonding through domestic life. And there, they like they make they grow some kinds of feelings that shift from sisterhood to a queer desire. Next. So why does this relevant to our daily life? So we can see in the study of on how Ikama, Indonesian queer Muslim and allies provide a safe place for every Muslim. And then we can see that in Indonesia, Ukti queer remain silent as they have only small power to convey as religious, yet being a lesbian in both ways. This evidenced by only a few blog posts which write about Ukti queer or even nowhere social media posts to be found about this kind of relationship. Next. So the conclusion is Berbagi Suami critiques the Islamic patriarchal polygamy system, demonstrating that despite religious justification, it fails to maintain justice and to fulfill women's emotional needs. The failure of patriarchal polygamy system in Paklik household led to the rise of Ukti queer, represented in Siri and Dwi's relationship. This identity emerges not as a rejection of faith, but as a survival mechanism where solidarity and shared oppression evolve into queer desire. The film is still relevant until now because there are academic study or a blog post by IE that raise the queer topic specifically, and maybe there is going to be a lot more studies about queer. Next. Okay, that's all from our group. Thank you for listening, and I hope we get some feedbacks and such. Thank you very much.